how long should I expect that interviewing process to take once I send everything out, and can I expect to be able to do it on my own?
So you can do it on your own if you want. When we're talking about reps, I'll give you a little bit of a fair warning, right? Because you're going to have, speaking directly to you, if your need is a rep, right? Then I'm going to say that your applicants are going to be very high, like I mentioned. Your vetting process is going to be, if you haven't done it before, a new thing for you and to try to figure out. And then you're going to be doing a lot of interviews. So kind of a rule of thumb is you do a phone interview, you do an in-person interview, or a Skype interview, a virtual interview, whatever, and then you onboard it. So if I have 100 applicants, I weed it down to 50 or 20. I really don't want to interview 50 people. Let's say I get down to 20, and then I do 20 phone screens, 10, virtual interviews, and then I hire my one person. So if you think about all that time that you just did, it's hours, right? And then and then the higher level, like you mentioning a CFO, right? And probably everybody on this call, you're looking for a CTO, or you're looking for a developer. That applicant range may dramatically go down. The higher the level, it goes down because it's more specific. But still, you have a rule of thumb of, that 100 to 50 to 20 to 10 or whatever, and then now I'm starting to talk about, 50, then I'm going to go weed it down to 10, and then I'm going to have 5 interviews. And then what's interestingly enough, and again, going back to the history that I feel like I've been in this too long, is that the second wave of interviews is usually when you find your applicant. It's usually not in your first round of interviews. So just keep that in mind when you're going through it. And that really, it happens more because you really don't know what you want, right? You think you know what you want, and you send the job description out and you get it out there, and then you go through the interview process like, I don't really need that. Why am I interviewing for that? I can do that. And then but I do need this. And then the job description changes, and then you find what you ultimately want. So that's why I was saying earlier about the need versus want, right? Is that I'll give you another story, and I love stories, so sorry, but that's kind of how I am. I was on the phone with a client out of Austin yesterday, and they were mentioning that they need 2 very senior backend engineers, like Python, AWS, the whole thing, right? Very, very technical roles, huge salaries, huge bill rate, the whole thing. And they wanted these people to have a very good understanding of data warehousing as well, and Snowflake specific, which is a data warehousing tool. And I had told them, I was like, those are 2 different jobs. You might not think they're 2 different jobs, but they're 2 different jobs. And the reason why they're 2 different jobs is because if you create that job description, you send that out, you're going to get a bunch of DW people, and you're going to get a bunch of Python people, and they're not going to want to do the same thing. So then I would say split the job up. And you might not know that until you do it. And then you realize, oh man, I do need to split this job. And then you realize, wait, I don't really need the data warehousing. I really need the Python experience. So then you just say, all right, cool, I don't need 2, I need 1. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic that happens. But yeah, to tell you, you'll be working hard. I feel for you.
Well, thanks for the insight. It's really helpful. And I noticed your Yankee shirt. I'm excited for the season to start back up too.